Morning. My name is Carson Morris, and I am the marketing manager here at Pessy Publishing. We are so excited to have this event with two big experts in the trauma field, Dr. Kate Truitt and Dr. Arielle Schwartz. They're going to be having a discussion how mind-body techniques can be used in the treatment of trauma, and really adding some nice exercises that you can do immediately. And we're just so grateful to have you both here this morning. It's the release of Dr. Kate Truitt's book, Healing in Your Hands, which you can see behind me and behind Kate. So yes, happy release day, and I'll let you both take it away.
Thanks, Carson.
Thank you, Carson. And Arielle, it's such a joy to be with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. And I know we spoke quite some time ago when you were in the process of bringing therapeutic yoga for trauma recovery to the world. And you mentioned that you were integrating havening into the book in a couple different places. And I've always been very curious, what inspired you to write this book? You're such a prolific and beautiful author. And what was the inspiration behind this one?
Okay, thank you so much for asking. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to you. I'm so excited. This is your launch day. And I'm really excited that I get to be part of your launch day and part of that celebration. So that makes me really happy. And in regards to your question of how this book kind of birthed into being and came into being, I've been teaching yoga since 1996, so we can do the math, for a long time. And for me, there's always been an integration of how do we drop in and create states of safety and create a feeling of connection. And so the book itself applies polyvagal theory into therapeutic yoga. And as I was writing this, I think around that same time that I was gathering materials together for the book, actually a psychiatrist friend of mine introduced me to the havening techniques. And it was like such a clarity within me that this was an essential part of the model. And so I started to read more. And of course, I got introduced to you and to your work and also Ruden's work. And I think that the experience of bringing self-applied touch as a therapist and also as a yoga teacher just brings it all home. There's a way in which it actually anchors that science of safety and connection in a very tangible way, a very practical way, where we can create a shift and a felt sense within ourselves. And it's in our own hands, right? It's right here. Yeah. So the book itself emerged out of many different layers, and certainly across the time of our pandemic in the last 2.5, coming on 3 years, taking all of the work online and teaching therapeutic yoga via Zoom to communities of people that were in isolation and quarantined and so forth. That quality of being able to bring touch in really helped close the gap. Yeah. So tell us more about what inspired you to write and how you came into havening.
Yeah. Well, like many of us, I have a complicated journey with my own mental health and wellness experience. And one of the things I struggled with, I grew up in the Midwest, was a lack of access to therapy. It simply wasn't something that was spoken about in the community. And this was back in the 80s and the 90s, quite some time ago. And I know it's changed a lot since then. And as I became more familiar with brain science and the mind-body relationship, started studying polyvagal and EMDR and so many other different therapeutic practices, the normalization that evolved from those studies of really understanding my own brain and starting to recognize, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. My brain's really having a hard time. And really leaning into the space that created from the shame and the emotional struggle opened up a whole other world for me. And now here it is, many years later, almost 2 decades later, that I've been studying this. And now there's this evolution of the integration of touch and the havening techniques that Drs. Ron and Stephen Ruden created, kind of accidentally, actually, but that's so effective that, as you beautifully said, allows us to drop in even further and neurobiologically creates that calming space in the brain, just as breath work, meditation, and mindfulness can do for the body. And for those of us who have more sensitive nervous systems, who percolate a little higher, bringing in that touch creates a different level of safety, which is where the name havening comes from, to put into a safe place. And in my own healing journey and in that with my clients, that integration has opened up an entirely new world for us. And we know that over 50% of people don't have access to mental health treatment just in America. And so when I sat down with the founders of Havening, the Rudins, and started talking about, hey, what about these? How do we take this forward? And they gave me the blessing to write this book. It was just, let's take these practical applications, integrate it with parts work and polyvagal and narrative therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy, and start weaving in the neuroscience so that people can do this work. As we really do, as you said, we have healing in our own hands. Our mind and our body are designed to do this on their own. We just haven't really been able to tap into it in the same way historically. It's exciting, and it's an honor to be on this journey with you and with all of the incredible healers that are doing this work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that so often we intuitively turn towards the touching of our own hands or our own face, right? Like it's something that we go towards when we're stressed. And as you said, to bring these various practices together, I often, especially as an EMDR therapist, think about how are we stacking resources, really building up our resource capacity, and so that we can link up that felt sense of touch with the capacity to do long, slow, rhythmic breathing, right? Where we get these bottom-up communications from body to brain that let us know that we're safe now. And speaking about that lack of access to mental health care and lack of access to resources, when we have something that is so available, that's freely available, that lives within us, what a profound gift.
Yeah, exactly. And that stacking up idea is so powerful. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about Havening is the integrative opportunity of it. It's not a philosophical or theoretical model of health or wellness. It's a neurobiological approach that enhances all of the other work. And as I was going through multiple of your books, thank you for all of your wisdom that you share with us. I'll find myself applying the Havening touch and thinking about how am I integrating this into my own healing journey and that of my clients, or teaching this to my teams, because it is that bottom up and top down journey. Now I know
it's also bilateral, just to put that piece in there, right? Like when we're crossing the midline, which EMDR of course emphasizes and therapeutic yoga emphasizes in these cross midline. In fact, we're going to do a little practice that will bring some of this right in together, because I think that we're allowing ourselves to experience a quality of brain integration, both in the bottom up, top down in the brain, as also cross hemispheric.
Exactly, which our system is supposed to get, but it's almost though we're just socialized into this linear way of existing in the world. And there's just so many different opportunities, and you really are one of the experts in how to integrate all of that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned we're going to do a little exercise, which is where I was starting to head, and I appreciate that you preempted it with that bilateral acknowledgement, because it is so real and it's a helpful piece for people to think about. Will you take us on a little journey? I've been looking forward to this ever since we started having this conversation today.
Lovely. So for everyone that's joined us here, we're going to take you on a journey together. And I'll start by leading us into an arrival practice. Kate's going to guide us into some self-havening touch, and then I will bring us back with some integrative breath practice. So a little bit about what to expect here. So the first part of this practice is go ahead and find yourself into a comfortable position, whether you want to be seated, whether you want to be standing. Honestly, you can choose, but something that allows you to feel safe enough, present enough in this moment. And as we're coming into this quality of being here now, right? That is where change happens. It's in this present moment. Allow yourself to orient for just a moment. Of course, we've got some technology that's here with us. That's how we're connecting with each other. So just acknowledging that you have our faces, our voices that are here guiding you. Maybe also tuning into the environment with which you are sitting. And you might even look around, identify some cues for you that help you orient to the safety that is here for you. And this quality of connection, knowing that we are connecting as an international community right now. People are coming in from around the world to connect with us right now, and that's a powerful knowing. So we orient, we arrive, and then the next step of this is to take a moment and just feel yourself in relationship to the ground beneath you. When we emphasize grounding, you might even place the soles of your feet on the floor. You might even press into them for just a moment to really feel the presence of your own legs underneath you. And that grounding also allows you to feel the support that is here beneath you. So you might sense how the backs of your legs are connected to the chair if you're seated. You might even sense how the back of your chair has your back. So there's some quality of feeling supported enough, grounded enough into this present moment. And from our relationship to the ground, that's what allows us to uplift, to tune into that which uplifts you in the world. And sometimes that's around literally pressing down and lengthening your spine, feeling the inspiration that arises quite naturally. When we feel supported, we actually will connect to our breath a little bit more fully and freely. And inspiration also invites us into intentionality. It allows the mind to be more free and focused on what it is that we want to create. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Kate.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to invite everybody to begin to apply the soothing, self-havening touch. Imagine you're washing your hands under warm water or giving yourself a nice, gentle, soothing hug. Also gently brushing your fingertips across your forehead or right under your cheeks. Any of those 4 touches will begin to create a calming, soothing experience in your brain, just as breath work calms the body. Moving into that experience of noticing your feet touching the floor, the space that's holding you up right now. I'd like to invite you to begin to explore a feeling or an energetic state you would like more of in this moment. Perhaps a feeling of centered calm, or maybe grounded awareness. Maybe an experience of feeling excited and curious about what the rest of this day will hold. Once you've identified your preferred state, invite it to become the center of your attention and begin to become curious about what it would feel like to welcome that into your mind and body. Welcoming in a gentle breath, begin to explore the inquiry, what if? Completing that question with your chosen state. What if I was calm? What if I were excited? What if I was curious in this moment? Just inviting your mind to explore this possibility and deepening your connection to it. If your preferred state has a color or a scent, invite your awareness to notice that experience. Perhaps an energetic citrus or a calming lavender. And if it feels possible, as we're creating possibilities, Invite your mind to navigate into a new inquiry of I can, or can I be? And imagine embodying this experience a little more fully, or even breathing it in to your body, to your mind, and into your being. And Arielle, with that gentle breath in, I'll invite you to step back into the space. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. So, the invitation for our breath practice, I was reflecting on what I wanted to bring in, and I'd love to guide you all into some alternate nostril breathing or Nadi Shodhana pranayama. I feel like it's a beautiful complement because it brings in this element of bilateral integration. And it also has a quality of still making contact with your face, which actually has a lovely element. And the Nadi Shodhana pranayama, or the alternate nostril breathing, recognizes that each nostril is connected to different states of the nervous system. The left nostril is more parasympathetic and calming. The right nostril is more activating and enlivening. And that as we alternate nostrils, we create a balanced nervous system state. And that's what we're going for here. So we're going to use the right hand, and using the right hand to close off your right nostril, pardon me, to inhale through your left nostril. And then we're going to close off left nostril and exhale through the right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. One more round, inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. And then releasing your hand, inhaling through both nostrils. Exhaling here. And then letting go of the focused breath and beginning to sense and feel what has shifted or changed as a result of these multiple practices. What are you sensing in mind and body, in emotional tone, or even energetically? Yeah. And as we come out of the practice and take just a final minute or two of connection, just allowing yourself to tune in one more time, knowing that, we're here, we have these practices out here for you. And Kate, before we close, I'd love for you to share about your event tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you, Arielle. It was beautiful. I'm definitely noticing that internal shift and a lot more awake. So tomorrow we are hosting a free 3-hour event. You can register through PESI, and it will be diving deeper into these types of practices, specifically focused on self-havening and welcoming in some of the tools and the techniques from the new book. And there's also a discount code for the book if you register, and the video recording will be available for review for 2 weeks as well. And then I also want to highlight that Arielle and I both do a lot of shareware. We have YouTube channels, and there's so many exciting ways to go deeper with this work and bring this into the world and the community. And thank you so much for being here with me on this exciting day as we launch the new book, and for all of your support. And I look forward to seeing everybody soon. Thank you, and hopefully see you tomorrow.